Alrighty, this is a Solaris tutorial. It's a browser game generally, but when you're playing on PC, there's kind of some margins on the side outside the game. On your phone, this will all be kind of stretched out if you're playing on the phone. Basically, you make an account first on the provided link. Once you make an account, this will be the main menu. There's this tutorial screen here, but it kind of only shows you one game, basically. It's very basic. They have a video, um, and there's a wiki you can read, but that wasn't really that helpful to me. It taught you the very basics of the game. So I'm going to try to go a little bit more in depth. Joining a game is the first thing I found. If you do want to try more tutorials than the very basic one, there's another tab next to new games where you can click and it has a couple tutorials, but a lot of them are kind of redundant, and it's a whole game they want you to finish before the tutorial actually ends for each part of it. So I didn't even do most of them. These ones, I don't know, they don't even have an actual tutorial for it, so it's basically what I'm going to be doing. Try to go back. There's a home button. If you press back, it drops you to the next screen. So if you're in a game and you press back on your phone, it'll kick you out of the game. So if you were to join a game, it shows you a list of user-created games, which apparently there are no user-created games at the moment. These are all formal games. This is a new player game where you can open the game, all empty slots to start. And basically, these are the different planets this is the border of the game. Where the stars stop is the edge of your movement. Like a board game, you can only go where there's a star. There's no free flying in space. It's from one star to another only. Based on which color you pick is where you're going to start. All the planets are essentially the same. When you start, your center planet is going to be your capital. I'm not sure which of these three. But anyway, one of your three planets is going to be the capital. It's going to have more resources, which I'll explain in a little bit, than the others. The only thing you'd other want to think about is positioning in space. You have like an area around your stars where you can see, and a wider area you can move that can be increased with technology. But some are more vulnerable, like this would be very easy to expand around and have a couple safer planets in the back, but you're a little more sandwiched in, whereas here, got a couple more isolated planets off to the side. This is a little connector between these two sides, but originally, these planets would not be able to reach these planets. So this one here would be a good jumping off point and a little bit isolated over here. So it depends on whether you want to expand fast and get a lot of power fast, or whether you want to kind of be a little safer until people's technology gets a little higher. But whichever one you ended up picking, you could pick any of them as your starting spot. And whenever you find a spot that you wanted to play, this isn't spectating. It's a little bit different on your phone. Oh, join now. Apparently there's a join button. Oh yes, this is the screen you'd be looking at on your phone generally. You just pick an avatar, it doesn't matter which one. Pick a color, so if you want it to be pink, you'd hit join on the pink. And as soon as it says you're about to start the game, you just click on it. I'm actually probably going to end up playing this game if I join it, huh? So might as well pick where I'm going to go. But I think this little isolated area might be a little more fun. Also, there's wormholes and all the planets kind of random. This one looks like it'd be super hard to expand, so I do not want to be over here. So basically, it's going to force this guy into either, excuse me, jumping over here or running into the red right here. So red would be in a lot of contention. This would be a little safer and maybe have a little outpost. So I think I'll start green. So it'll start green, and it'll show you as soon as you jump into the game. You can basically take your first turn right away. So when you're looking, oh, this is crazy. All the different planets have different markers. There's economy, industry, and science. When you first start, your capital is going to have a high economy, industry, and science to start. Each of the other planets, oh, this is your capital. So that's the one where you would see up here, you'd either click on the ship or the star itself. And this is the economy, industry, and science that it starts with. So this is actually not a normal planet, but oddly here, it looks like this planet started with a warp gate, which isn't normal. This double line around it indicates that there's a warp gate. I don't know if planets normally start with warp gates, which is kind of odd. So anyway, the 6-pointed star is normal planets. The 8-pointed star, 9-pointed star looks like, is for people's capital planet, it'll show you that that's their capital. Yeah, it does say that this planet here is has a warp gate and can travel 3 times faster between active warp gates. So if I were to put a warp gate on this planet, which you'd go down here for 181, I can start a warp gate, and it makes travel between the 2 planets 3 times faster. These little indicators up here, the 551, correlates with the economy, industry, and science. Each of the planets has different costs based on these natural resources here and the terraformed resources. So the higher these numbers are, essentially, the lower these costs are going to be for your economy, industry, and science. Your science, these tabs are different on the phone. Science is here. You have your scanning is this white line here, the solid line, I should say, is how far you can see information. So it'll only tell you about ships that are within your, or stars that are within your scanning range. So it tells me about this here. This is an asteroid field, which is all these little dots. That means when you're getting attacked, you get a bonus to defense. Whenever you're getting attacked, you already get a normal bonus to defense. So with an asteroid field, it makes it +2 when you're defending. Binary star systems have extra resources, which is odd, because these black holes have reduced resources. But the black holes also give extra scanning range. So I should have both increased and decreased resources on this star system. It says natural resources 17, which normally a binary star system would have like 100. But since it's 2 black holes, it's going to have a great scanning range. So you'll probably be able to see maybe even out to here, but certainly all these planets when you take the black hole. But normally, like this planet here, 15 and 20 natural resources is probably lower than normal because this has a warp gate on it. See this one here, 41, 46, pretty normal stats. And then your core planets usually have a little bit higher. 50 and 55 sounds about normal. I don't know why the star is pink, or maybe it's just the different in color from the background. That's kind of interesting that the color changes with the background a little bit, just because of the way the human eye works, I believe. Anyhow, so science, going back to that, for each point in science you have, you get 1 point toward any of these things. Scanning is the range, so if you bump up scanning 1 rank, it'll be out past your next line. This is your hyperspace range, so this is how far your ship can actually fly. So when you start off, I can launch a ship from here, maybe not quite out to here, but I can, here we go, I can see these planets, but I can reach further. So I can reach this planet, but I can't actually see what's there. So if I click, it gives me barely any information. But if I click here, since this is within my scanning range, it tells me this is a binary star system. So the natural resource here is 146. So with the terraform resources, it'll probably be close to 146 as well. So if you think about that, with this planet having very low resources, it's 25, 50, and 200 for the starting cost of things. That increases as the ranks get higher. So this is already just barely higher on some of these. So this is 25, 50, 200. And this one is, with 5 economy already, 54, which is twice as much, but it's already very high ranks. The industry is barely higher, even though it's already got 5, and the science is lower even, despite the fact that it already has ranks because of the natural resources. So this star up here, this binary star system, would have a very high resource yield, and therefore everything would be dirt cheap to make all these upgrades. So if I jumped out here quickly, I could really get a boost, but it's also a little more vulnerable of a location. Kind of jumping all around here, but terraforming is the next one. So when it says natural resources, terraform resources, basically your terraforming makes things cheaper on your planets because it makes the terraformed resources higher on any given planet. I'd imagine it's a portion of the natural resources when you terraform them. But essentially, higher your terraforming is, the lower the resource costs are. The economy is just going to increase the amount of money you get every tick, and a tick is like a turn. Generally, it's an hour in the base game. So this 500 up here, normally when you start out, you're getting around 100, maybe from your economy, and around 70 from your banking, which is another technology you can research here. Banking is just passive income, essentially. So with the 1 science we have, we get 1 point to whichever one of these technologies we choose to do. So we can hit banking, and it'll do banking until it goes to the full 100. Then it'll go to level 2, and then it'll go whatever your next thing is you put in. So you can just hit banking again, and it would just keep looping through banking, or whatever you wanted to do. The terraforming decreases cost of planetary buffs. Sorry. Economy was for how much money you make. Industry is how fast your ships get made. So this industry economy is, the industry is for specifically this planet. The economy is passive income that you get, you can spend anywhere. And science is just for this research tab. And it gives you more points per tick, so basically per hour. You can change it in custom games. Experimentation is each rank of this, you get 50 points to a random technology in research, so it would go to 50 of 100 if it hits scanning. And it's completely random, and it's every time a full turn goes by, which I don't know how to get to it here. Maybe it's, wow, buttons are, maybe there's more buttons on the PC, I think. More different things to look at. A ledger? There should be a timesheet somewhere. Oh, I just kicked out of the game. All right, let's go back to this. Play again. I just got kicked out of the game somehow. Wow, so this is a little bit different than PC. This tells you all the information about the match itself. Start delay 60 minutes after everyone joins. Oh, there's the time because it says paused. So this tells you how long has gone through in the game. So it would say the cycle and the tick number. Tick number is the turns every hour. Every 20 ticks is one cycle. So every cycle is when you get your income. When your research bar progresses, so your experimentation hits once every cycle, not every tick, and it increases in other technology, you then would get the benefits of that. Weapons is the next one, so whenever you're attacking or defending, essentially, if these 10 guys were to swing over here and attack this planet, they would have a weapons of 1 because of our technology 1 weapons. And then the defending planet on defending gets a +1 defense bonus. And if you were attacking this asteroid field, they get a +2 weapons. So what that is basically each side does its damage to the other side. And don't think of the 10 ships as a more powerful army. Weapons is the only thing that determines your damage. It's basically hit points. It's how much damage your unit can take. The 1 here is the carrier, and this is the number of ships attached to that carrier. These 10 guys can't go anywhere until you come here and you build a carrier for $25, I guess, credits. Once you have that, then you can take and select your carrier, and you can edit the waypoints and select where you want it to go within this little squiggly line. You can send it to any planet. If it tries to go to somewhere outside, it'll make a little path, or you can make your own path. Set a bunch of waypoints. You can go back in time to undo them, or you can trash can all of them. But once you save and exit, if you have a waypoint, it is as soon as it leaves. So in the next tick, it's going to move. So every hour, if it's got 3 seconds left and you tell it to go and you save it, 3 seconds later, when the tick runs through, it'll be right here outside the star and moving to its next destination. Which I should probably be showing another game example of this. So weapons, each side basically has hit points, the number of ships that this is attached to them, and then you do your weapons and damage. So I believe the defender goes first, and each side does their damage. So the defender would do 1 damage, so we'd go down to 9, or would do 2 because they're on defense, so this would go down to 8. I think there's a calculator for it as well. And then they would do 1 damage, so this would go to 9. The 2 damage would go down to 6. This would go to 8, and so on and so forth. There is a calculator. There we go, a calculator. So the defender weapons would be 2 because they're on defense. The defender number of ships here would be 10. And then the attacker weapons is 1 and 10 ships. Then you can click fight, and it'll show you defender wins with 7 ships remaining because they would do 2 damage, 1, 2 damage, 1, 2 damage, 1. And especially if you're attacking an asteroid field or something, would do more. I don't think the math quite works out on what I thought that was. Carrier, star to star, defender bonus. Oh, I already had the defender bonus checked off, so it would be 1 weapons plus the defender bonus. That makes the math act right. Okay, so yes, it will be with 6 ships remaining. I was gonna say, because that doesn't make sense. They'd attack, so they attack first, which means they take 5 hits to kill them, and on that 5th hit, the attackers only hit 4 times, which is the 6 damage. So the attacker hits second, the defender hits first, and they have an additional +1 weapons bonus, which is where I was messing up there. So back to research. The banking is passive income beyond your economy. So if this planet gets taken with the economy, whoever takes the planet takes the economy. Also, when you're attacking planets, sometimes these infrastructure will be destroyed, and the attacker will get extra money for destroying the infrastructure of the planet they take. However, they do take the planet, whatever's on it. Your banking technology is no matter, you can have one planet, as long as you have this banking technology, you're still getting the credits at the end of the cycle. This manufacturing is like banking is for your economy and your income. Industry is how fast this planet builds ships, whereas manufacturing is like a multiplier to that. I'm not sure exactly what the multiplier is, but basically, the more manufacturing you have, the more quickly ships get built on every planet you control, or every star system, because these are a whole star system. And then your science, we already went over, is the ticks here. Specialist is how many specialist coins you get per tick. So these specialist coins can be any kind of thing. It's like it's what makes the game unique, where everyone's not just playing Risk. So if you hire a specialist and you have a star system selected, there's all these different bonuses that this planet gets. If the planet's taken, most of the time, the specialist is also taken with it. Sometimes they have, like, this one destroys itself over time, or this one here, the demolition controller, destroys all the infrastructure on the planet when it's taken. So there's a bunch of different bonuses you can get. I won't go over each individual one, but I will also show you that if you click on a carrier instead, and you hire a specialist, there's a whole different set of specialists for the carriers, but the carriers move around with them. Obviously, the specialists on stars stay there. So you can transfer more units, or essentially hit points, more ships to the specialists, or you can move more ships to a planet that has a specialist. But the mobile ones could be in the right place at the right time if you move right, if you manage everything right. So we've gone over the research tab, we've gone over the planets, all the infrastructure is what you can buy. You can also build a carrier for 25, as much as you want, and hire a specialist. The only other thing it would say is how much it takes to build a warp gate, but that planet already had one. And again, depending on your terraforming, how much this warp gate's going to cost. Now, the warp gate move bonus only happens between two planets that both have a warp gate. Other things I can see is anything here, a pulsar, you can see from across the map. Everyone can see it no matter where you are in the game. This is a wormhole, so if you own this planet, you can, in one tick, move to this planet. Normally, moving from this this star system to this star system would take 10 hours maybe. But from here to here is 1 hour. So again, that same 3-second example, if you tell a ship with a carrier to move from here to here, 3 seconds later, it's there. But, if you send it with 57 minutes left to go, it takes that 57 minutes. Things only move on the tick. There's not like a very slow movement. It's incremental. It's a jump every hour. Everything takes a little tiny jump. Apart from that, you'll have all your other players. There's a diplomacy tab where you can hit either you want to hit enemies with someone or allies with them. You both have to agree for allies to go through. If you're allied, you can move to their stars, make use of warp gates they own, or going between planets, or wormholes that they control. You can move if you own part of wormhole, or a wormhole, or your ally does. You can still use it to attack an enemy on the other side of that. But there is a specialist that locks the warp gate, or the wormhole, that I'm trying currently. I don't know ledger notes. That sounds all completely unnecessary. Leaderboard just tells you basically who has the most stars. But this tab up here, you can compare yourself to opponents. It'll actually compare your economy, industry, and science, and all of your upgrades to theirs, your income, new ships per cycle, all of that. When the game starts, everyone's the same. But as far as starting the game, you can, right off the bat, say I want to build a carrier here, and I want to take, the maximum number of dudes. I'm going to build that. Yes, I want to do that for sure. And then I'm going to take this carrier, and I want to go get that binary star system for all that juicy income. So I'm going to save and edit, or just save that. When you make those commands, actually, it has 2 for some reason. Let's undo that. Oh, I clicked on that. That's why. That's weird. I'm just going to click there. There you go. When you edit, you can tell it, for instance, the baseline is collect all the ships that are there. You can have it to drop off all the ships when it gets there, or you can have it pick up or select, percentages or a certain number to where the ship will automatically do that, and you can set another waypoint for it to go along. For this, I'm just sending it there to take the system. I want to do that here as well to make sure that I take this for the vision that the black hole is going to give me. So I'll see all of these planets and potentially scout out my opponent as they're exploring a bit. So, this is going to be my connector to these guys. This is going to be my most worrisome area, but this planet has very, very low resources here, so we're not real concerned about getting that quickly. This is very, very low resources, so I'm a bit worried about the planets I've accepted here, because this planet has super low resources, and the ones that have high resources are very far out. I'm only taking this one despite the low resources because I need that juicy vision. So we're going to build a carrier again over here. It's taking that 25 away each time. And then we're going to set it to go over here. And you got to save it. If you click away and that line's not drawn, this line shows where the ship's going. As your opponent's scout, they can see that. So apparently I'm not close enough. Scouting-wise, this solid line doesn't actually see this planet. But I still want to take it, because if he ends up taking this planet, then he can get to pretty much any of my planets from that point. I don't need to move in past that. But I do need to move over there. No one gets my main star anyway, so my main points are going to be here. I'll probably try to explore all this, but anyway, this will be to defend against pink. This will be the wide open, but I really want to keep this binary star system. Oops, did I? Okay. I'm going to click that ship, and we're going to edit the waypoints and send it out. Oop. Oh, he can't make it straight there. That's crazy. So he's not even in my zigzaggy range. So I guess I don't need to take that quick. So yeah, we'll just send it like that in a little line. So it'll travel here first to Demeter, and then out to the barrier planet, see what resources it's got. Other than that, we can do our research. I really like experimentation myself, because free points, it's a little bit dangerous early, but the longer you have it, the more worthwhile it becomes. I'll just set experimentation for both of them and see what my opponents are doing if I need to start more defensive stuff. If you were going to be aggressive early, you might want to get weapons, or if you wanted to jump, say, from here to here, you might get hyperspace range, or if you were worried, you could get scanning to check things out, more ship manufacturing, more income. There's all kinds of things you might want to do, all depending on how you want to play the game. So I'm just testing out the experimentation right now. As far as spending money, this planet's where I'm going to want to spend most of my money, and I don't think it's going to take me 20 ticks to get there. So I'm going to save a lot of my money for enhancing this planet, because of the resources it has is going to make it real cheap, so it's going to make it real worthwhile for whatever income I spend. Also with this, you have 5 specialist coins. You could just hire a specialist at the beginning. For instance, research station would give you a lot more scientific research early, or you could do whereas a space dock for a lot more manufacturing if you wanted to get a lot of ships out early. There's a lot of different things you could do right off the bat if you wanted to. Same thing with your other ships. If you wanted to have this guy jumping out here, actually, I could do that just to show you. So we'll take this ship here. We'll edit his... Oh, we actually didn't send his waypoints. That's kind of funny. I never saved it. So just an example of why you might want to do that, huh? We could take this guy here. We're going to go... Click back on the planet. No. Well, we're not trying to give him a waypoint. All right, we want to select the ship itself, and then we're going to hire a specialist for it. Now we can take this Pathfinder, which is going to increase its hyperspace range by 1, and we'll hire that guy. And then we can send him, once we select him again, can send him set a waypoint. There we go. Now, before his range was here, 1 hyperspace range made a massive difference. So we can bring him out here just to drop off ships and claim the planet. That also means they could do the same thing over here to just assault places, or, get to any of my planets pretty easily, just with 1 upgrade of the hyperspace range here. Early, I don't know how likely it is people are going to do that. Again, I didn't save it. Holy well, alright, save. Yeah, if you don't see those green lines, or whatever color you are, if you don't see the line drawn to planets, there is no saved command. So that the specialist tokens, you only get one per level. So if you're level 1, you get one every basically 20 hours. So not a lot. And if you don't get any more resources, like I said, this experimentation is going to take 4 days, 4 hours if I have no extra science built up. But I plan on dumping a bunch of science into this planet when I get it, but then I'll really just have to hold that planet. It'll be my primary economy. Now, we'll see what the costs are like over here. I might get a science over here or something, but we'll see. Anyway, this is, the basic what I'm going to be starting with. The game hasn't even started yet, so I'm going to hit this back button here and go to the other games. Oh, the turn waiting tutorial. I don't know how to get out of that. So that's just going to be an annoying thing in my games from now on. This is the first game I actually started, the first legitimate game. Currently, these are the planets that I own. This is an ally, and recently we took an enemy's star system out. So now we're kind of running around in their territory. But you can see all these lines. So this is enemy ships, and you can click on them to see how long it's going to take for them to get to the destination. So this ship going from here to there is 10 hours. This ship's another 4 hours to get where it's going. And all these ships have the little lines. Again, these hyperspace lines going from one planet with hyperspace to another. So for instance, this ship going from here to here is 4 hours, but then from here to here is only 4 more hours, the final ETA being 8 hours. So this distance is 4 hours, but with the hyperspace, what are they called? Warp gates, it goes triple the distance in the same amount of time. So that can be very useful for either getting your units to the front lines, which is what these guys are trying to do, and this guy's trying to go pick people up, or for moving around in a combat. Once again, the stars will tell you what all they do. So this is a nebula. Opponents can't see what a nebula has. So if I click on this planet here, it says, I don't know what he's doing for ship production. I don't know what the resources are. I don't even know how many units he's got. Now, I was thinking you could just send a ship at them to check and see. But when the combat ends, if you haven't destroyed them and taken the planet, you don't know what happened in the nebula. There is no communication unless you are allied with them. So if you attack a nebula and all your units die, you'll just see question marks in the combat log, which I think I can show you a combat log. Let's see if I had any. Yeah, so this is a combat log. I had... Where's Hoda? Here? Oh, people sent units to this place, but we had a bunch of units that got there in time. So my 127 units versus their 91, because of my weapons technology. Let's see what the opponent is. This one would be good. Oh, wait. Okay. So the opponent we were fighting was not... Oh, no, not Valkyrie. There you go, Fubar. This Fubar was the guy, so he has weapons 3, I had weapons 5, plus the defender bonus. So that combat log was very much in my favor. I lost 36 units, he lost 91. And it could be possible that he just couldn't even see where he was going, and he's just making a desperate play out there. These are allies, so when his ships get to my base, nothing bad's going to happen. They just sit there. Although, if you have ships orbiting an ally's planet, and I have, 40 ships here, if I have 40 ships orbiting all his planets, and then I declare that we're enemies, all of those orbiting ships will immediately fight that tick. So, if an ally's protecting your planets, that's cool, but if they start protecting more than the borders, and they start putting units on your, industrial capitals and whatnot, it could get a little bit hairy. This game I started a little bit after it started, I think. So there's a lot more happening already. The first thing was this wormhole here. When the game started, I told this guy, hey, I want to take the wormhole. And he said, actually, I'm willing to defend the wormhole with my life. But if you want to come take these planets over here this other guy has, we could do that. But it got to a point where we were decimating him so thoroughly, I just took my units and started going over to the other enemy while he was finishing cleaning up these planets. So yeah, I got another group of units coming in. I saw him send, I think, 80 or 90 dudes over here earlier. But again, my scouting range is only the solid line, so I can't actually see what's happening here. Now, this planet is Black Hole. So if I were to take this planet, then I'd be able to see everything else. But as it is, I have to go off the scouting for this planet, which doesn't reach, and this planet, which doesn't reach. Also, this planet, even though it might be within my scanning range, it's a nebula, so you can't see nothing. Binary star system, though, means you pretty much guaranteed to have a lot of natural resources there. So that'd be a good planet to take if this game wasn't pretty close to already over. You can look at the troop counts and see how many ships. I got 734. This guy's got 1,200. And the guy that's still left has, you know, half of what I have. So we have 5 times as many ships in our alliance as this guy does. Pretty much over. I'm not sure how the game ends in an alliance. The terms of the game ending should be somewhere over here. There's rules. Somewhere there's rules to the game. Oh, what did this say about allied? Oh, if you're allied with another player, you can visit their stars. I thought there was. Here we go. Here's the rules. So there's conditions for winning somewhere around here. What'll tell you what you need to do to win, or the percentage of planets you need to own is generally, I think, the way they figure that out. Not on this screen. That's the wiki. Now I'm just looking. Oh, I got out of the game again. All right, the PC has a little bit different visuals, but we're in. Oh, okay, this is the game I was just looking at. So this is actually the game that I wanted to get out to show you a different one anyway. But yeah, you can see the resources, the specialist tokens. Oh, this is the percentage of research to your next thing, which isn't shown in your phone. But all this stuff can be found in other menus. But this is your like log of everything that happens, all the combats that happen. And as technologies get done, as you recruit specialists and all that, it'll all be recorded in here. It's where you can go back to the very beginning, the first fights in the game. Oh, apparently, dude left. So it's just me and my friend. He left a long time ago. So at any point in time, we can, I guess, quit. One of us quit. I'm really not sure. I'll try to keep you updated with that. But we're going to move on to another game here, where I came in again a little bit later. One guy looks like he's dominant, and based on the player count, somebody's ready to quit, and the other people might not be present. And I think that could be a continuing problem that players, once they get behind, just stop playing the game. But this one really, my main goal was I wanted to see what recruiting some of the specialists did, and how well you can move around the map with one big unit. This is the first game that I was actually playing from the beginning. And I tried really hard. The first thing I did was made this research station, so I'd be very far ahead in research. So I leveled up my science to 3, and then I bought this research station, which doubles the research, adds scanning, but it makes it where if you're attacked, so you have -3 weapons, and everything costs a lot more with this -3 to terraforming. But I was kind of banking on having that technology advantage. It seems to be working out, but I'm about to start having a lot of fights here and there, so we'll see how it actually goes. But the main thing is to check out, see if there's anything different. All this stuff can overlap, so planets are randomly, there's a percentage chance that they are a binary star system, or a pulsar, or a nebula, or an asteroid field. You can see it all from the map once you recognize what the things look like. This is a binary star system that's also a nebula, so that's why I'm sending a bunch of dudes to take that one. Also, if you can scout well enough, you can see this guy's got, 70, 50, 58. You can see how many guys they have. And then these nebulas are still blank spots, but you can go to the player and go, okay, I'll add those numbers plus your units that are actually attacking. This 54 here. And then we can go to, what's this guy? Cuckoo. And you can see, okay, he has 338 ships, and you can just kind of do the math. Okay, -1, 7, 17, 49, 54, and then you just subtract. Oh, that's a different guy. Whoops. Okay, so this is bright yellow. This is a dull yellow. So you just take all the dull yellow numbers, add them up, and find out. Between these two planets, I think he's got a maximum of 80 or 100 dudes when I did the math last time I looked. But again, this guy going here is 7 hours away. This guy going here is 5 hours away. So even the base game's pretty slow, and we could slow it down even more depending on how casual you want the game to be. This warp gate, between the two, he attacked once, but I put this little shell up the warp scrambler. I think it means he can't attack me through it. So hopefully that's working out. We'll see when we get there. I don't think there's a lot of other star types that I haven't talked about. I've talked about how to If you have a dude here, he can't move unless you build a carrier for him. When you have, let's see if we have a planet with multiple carriers. Maybe go to a different game for that. Let's see. We have a planet here with multiple carriers, perhaps? I think I spread them all out pretty well. Anyway, oh yeah, here we go. So here you can transfer carriers. You can put them all back to the planet. And then when you go here, you can pick any of these carriers and load up, 4 dudes. And then now that guy's got 4 with this ship. So if this ship leaves, the Drindy 1, it would only have the 4 dudes with it. Everything else is garrisoned currently. But you can move it all back out, except 1. It has down to a minimum of 1. And then with this commander, whatever the heck it was, general dude. Yeah, general, there you go. He has all the ships, so basically they're protecting him. If we get into a fight, it'll have like this combat log. We'll say this ship had 29 guys with it. This general had 7 guys with it. He lost all but 1. If he would have lost that 1, the general would have gone away. And the general costs these specialist tokens. So generally, you want to protect your specialists, particularly the more expensive ones, your generals and whatnot. There's a lot of different things you can do with those, but I feel like we've covered most of the game. You can see the time in game. It'll tell you 20 minutes to the next tick, which is when these ships move, one of their spaces. Nothing's even moving. This is a boring game. I don't even look at it that much. No one's been doing anything. But this one has a bunch of events on the tab for me to look at, a bunch of fights that happened. And if you don't click read all, it'll just stay there in your main menu, and it'll keep trying to tell you, hey, stuff's happening. And I have a little bit of income, but since this game's kind of in the bag, I've just been saving it for buying stuff periodically. Apart from that, so starting a new game, it'll show you, the basics, what you have to start. And then when the game starts, it'll send you a little message and say, hey, when 2 players have joined, the game's going to start. It'll have a 60-minute delay, but normally the games get full before the game actually starts. So you can also link this to people when if other people want to play. Apart from that, you can create games, and you can set all your own numbers for everything. So if you want to say you need, to literally own all the stars to win the game, or if you only need a quarter of them, you can set all kinds of different. You could have the capital star, where if the capital star gets eliminated, then you lose the game. I guess advanced AI is on, which means they're not going to be super retarded. Here you go. Start delay. You can set to whatever you want. I think you can set it to turn-based. So instead of real time, where every hour it just happens, you can go turn-based, where when everyone takes their turn, then the game moves on. Or you can say, okay, you have a certain number of time for, I guess it's for the game. Oh, there, max turn weight. There you go. So your turn, if you haven't taken your turn every 12 hours, the game goes on without you. So we can set those settings to all kinds of stuff. Probably won't mess with too many of the settings, but if you want to play very unique styles, or you can make the game larger, I'd imagine, to accommodate more people. Turn jump. Okay. Anyway, I don't know if there's too much more to talk about. I think there's some random things I learned in games that I was going to talk about. If you have, oops, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted at all. We're going to join a game. You could probably, oh, we're not joining a game. What the heck? I'm going to go to my games. I'm a little bit retarded sometimes. So generally, if you've got 2 ships and they're crossing paths, so I don't see any now, but basically, if these ships and these ships, if their lines were overlapping, if they're both trying to travel to opposite planets, they would fight mid-flight, so they'd stop whenever their 2 ships met, and then have ship-to-ship combat, which there is no defender bonus, and you could potentially both destroy each other where there is no winner. But there are ships, too, where it says, like this one, does not participate in carry-to-carry combat. So I've had hidden running lines past people over and over, and nothing happens with it. Yeah, we could. So I'm just going to send this fleet over to take this black hole over here to give us the better scouting information so we know what to be hitting next. But I want to tell him to Oh no, we're not going to take all of them. I don't have to tell him to drop stuff. I'm going to tell him to leave some guys right now. So we'll leave. Let's see what's headed there. Oh, an ally's headed there. So I don't see any big forces, so we really don't have to leave that much there at all. We'll leave 13 dudes. So now there's a little bit of force there, and most of it'll move on to go hit this planet. What was the other thing? You can use wormholes to jump over destinations. I thought there was something else I learned that was super informative and interesting and awesome, and I don't remember what it was at all. Oh, you can abandon stars. So that's the thing. If you want to just go neutral again, don't leave your ships at it. They will all die. The infrastructure will stay, however. So if you want to abandon it for an ally to give them a leg up, or if you want to abandon it for an enemy so you don't even need to fight them, or as part of a treaty of some sort, where you just talk to someone and say, hey, buddy, let's see, go to someone else. You can send them a message and just type to them whoever you want and just say, hey, do you want this star in exchange for not murdering me? I really don't have much else to say. There's renown, I guess. Victory's rank doesn't really matter. The game's about having fun. So I feel like this video's probably gone on long enough. I need a drink, and I'm going to stop the recording. So hopefully, seems interesting. The main thing's going to be managing how much time we want turns to be and how much people are able to participate in the game, whether we want it real time or turn based. And that could go basically as fast or slow as people want to coordinate that being. Hope it seems interesting, and if not, I don't see why you got this far in the video, so thank you again, and holy fuck, 40 minutes. Wow. Probably should have wrote a script. Trim that down a little bit. Ew, boy. Yeah, can't really put time codes on that shit. I am sorry. Hopefully you're watching this when you have nothing else better to do, like on a break or something. Holy shit. I'm sorry.